Good morning, happy Saturday. It is 9 in the morning and we haven't got anything for breakfast, so pretty standard start to a Saturday. So today we hope to go into Twickenham to have a look at their little festival they've got going on, and hopefully the weather will be like it was yesterday afternoon, mostly blue.
Welcome to another episode of Toby Stupid Vlog.
So we've been into Twickenham, bought a couple of bits, and now we're heading over the river to Ham in the last remaining ferry boat across the Thames in this stretch. Welcome back to Kew Gardens. Good work, Kew. I'm going to find a little spot and read some wallpapers. It's fair to say the children's garden is quite popular. There is literally a queue and you get a wristband and you can be in there for 90 minutes. I mean, I knew they were going to like it, but this is nuts. Also, it's a Sunday, so it's super busy, despite the weather being only so-so. I'm not going to stop. Don't yet have a child to warrant entry into this here garden, but soon enough. Today has felt a bit like a work day because I've had to play catch up both on board papers and the podcasts I'm working on for Wimbledon. By the end of this week I need to have finished 3 of the podcasts for Wimbledon out of 5, and as it stands, I've only done 2 days work, but so I didn't expect to be very far along, but I've nearly finished one, which I will finish tomorrow, and then the other one will be, I would imagine, mostly there by the end of tomorrow. So certainly by Tuesday I will have done 2. Problem is I don't know what stage the other 3 are in, so I kind of need to investigate that during the week, as well as go to my audit committee meeting on Monday night and get rid of a load of junk from the house on Tuesday morning. And I have to do a travel podcast as well. So you can see this week is a little busy. That's why it's nice to come out here to read papers. It does feel like there's nobody in this corner, but the gardens themselves are super busy. So it's nice to have a bit of nature whilst summer is on for this half hour, then it might be off again at 6. Keeps looking like winter and then going back to summer again. It's very confusing. I haven't been in here in ages. This is my little glade and it's looking ever so green and grown up. They've cleared out the huge load of logs that were over there from dead branches and things, but it feels really kind of overgrown almost. I quite like it, to be honest, but it just such a long time it's almost unrecognisable. I'm just here looking for errant golf balls from our terrible golf neighbours. Good morning. It's a Monday. The description of Monday will follow once we have a feel for how Monday is going to be, but it is Monday and I'm walking again to the Livewire Sport offices in Chiswick to continue editing some documentaries. Hopefully by the end of today I'll be a fair bit further forward. Ivy's got a bit intense over there. Check out that. It does look like it's being slowly taken over. The pub is becoming haunted. Serious point though, like I know I'm always that weird person that goes around ripping ivy off trees and everyone looks at me strangely, but just as it swallows houses it can kill trees as well, which is fine in sort of a open woodland environment where this kind of nature manages it. It's not so fine in a sort of urban environment where killing the tree involves tree coming down and landing on things. So look after your trees, kids. Afternoon. Summer's just gone on pause again. It started raining and it's not going to stop apparently until this time tomorrow. Great. I am well into the second podcast, which I'm hoping to finish today. No, scratch that. I have to finish today. And then I've got number 3 ready to go. It's a bit full on, but I'm having a break now so I can have something to eat, which is very much needed. Consumes a lot of calories editing podcasts. Right, it's finally time to go for a walk. Incidentally, that is the first words I've actually said out loud since I recorded the last clip about 6 hours ago. No, 8 hours ago. That's worrying, isn't it? I literally got surprised with the sound of my own voice. Anyway, it's all going great, I promise. When you're working on a project like this, where there's lots of episodes of the same thing and it's quite intense, you have good days and bad days, and it kind of ebbs and flows a bit. Monday was a pretty good day, at least it felt like it was. Yesterday... No, hang on, what is today? Today's Tuesday, isn't it? Interesting. No, Monday was not a good day. There was a lot to do, but I kept getting more things to do, and not so they were piling up and I wasn't finishing things. Today was a good day. Friday was a good day. So today I have done the near final mix of episode 1 on Billie Jean King. I've done the first mix of episode 2, Althea Gibson, and I have done the promo for the show. So we're moving forwards. Tomorrow I will start episode 3. So that was a good day's work. It's gone 6 o'clock actually, but I just really need a walk, so that's why we're out and about. Morning. So I am going to the Livewire Sport offices today, and having walked there a whole 2 times so far, I'm already bored with the route, so come up with a much longer route. So Kew Bridge, it's down there beyond the railway bridge. This is Chiswick Bridge, and I'm going to do a big loop round. It's a nice morning currently, just by the main road, and I need to do a bit of exercise really to get my brain working properly for the day ahead. Because we've had such perfect weather for plants, not too warm, plenty of water, still quite bright, everything has grown up crazily, and there is still some elderflowers on the bushes. I need to pick some so I can make another cordial, but everything looks really healthy. This time last year everything looked like give it another couple of weeks and it'd be dead. So there are some positives to be taken from this lack of summer. Because I just came past Kew Riverside School at the hours that all the kids arrive at school, I was reminded of myself aged 8, going to school up the road. We used to walk because it wasn't too far. It took about 10-15 minutes, probably 15 at the pace we went, and we used to occupy ourselves with all sorts of weird games we'd make up. And I really enjoyed, especially in these kind of months, walking to and from school. It was really fun. It's like an extra break time. I think I quite enjoyed school at that age, to be honest. Secondary school not so much, but primary school I definitely did. Actually, to be precise, it was years 7 and 8 that I really didn't enjoy. I think realising that school was very different at that point and I had to do some work, that didn't sit well with me. And then 9 and 10 were all right. That was sort of GCSE years. And then the sixth form I quite enjoyed, but not because of the lessons. I don't think I was really that focused at that point. I'd lost interest in the education system really, but I enjoyed the social aspect. I really enjoyed being there, so a lot of my friends didn't, but the kind of shared trauma was one of the things, that it was kind of a bonding experience in some ways. So there we go. I enjoy education much more now than I'm a man approaching 40. On this Wimbledon project I am working with a couple of different producers, one of whom I've worked with before and one of whom I haven't. And the thing that is always interesting when you work with multiple different people on the same project is when they have very different ways of working, which they do in this case. And they sort of both fit broad archetypes of way producers can work. One is very full of feedback, constant iterations. It means you do something 4 or 5 or 6 times. Can be quite frustrating, if I'm honest, because you kind of would like to do them all at the end, but it's just the way they consume the program, so they have to listen to it all the way through to have more feedback. They can't just isolate one part and give you everything on it. So that one I'll end up doing 5 or 6 times. On the other side, it would seem that I have a producer, which is the other archetype, which is somebody who is just happy to let you get on and do your job. And that is equally unnerving in some ways, because you spend, a couple of days on something and you hand it over and they go, yeah, that's great. And you think, is it though? It must be, I guess. So, very different ways of working. There is no perfect solution. Unless you find someone who works exactly like you, this is always going to be an issue. Nearly home after a full day of podcast editing. I'm on to episode 3. It's good. I've done a full loop now. So I went across Chiswick Bridge and came back across Kew Bridge. And in the meantime, it's poured with rain. And now it's lovely again. So, what a fun day. The summer yo-yo continues. Today, summer, yes. You'll know that technically summer doesn't start until tomorrow, the 21st of June, which is the longest day of the year by a second in the United Kingdom. But yes, at least today it's trying, so I'm gonna go back to Chiswick and do some more podcasting. The last 2 Junes have proved a couple of things. First of all, climate change is very real, because there is no consistency in weather patterns anymore, none whatsoever. And secondarily, there is no such thing as meteorological seasons. People talk about meteorological seasons, like the start of June is the start of summer, start of March is the start of spring. It's not. It just doesn't exist. Because if that were the case, then you would be relying on the weather being consistent and climate being consistent, and those two things just don't happen anymore. So yeah, get out of your head the idea that seasons start on the first of the month. They don't. There is astronomical seasons, which are to do with where we are in our orbit around the sun, but that's about it. Also, if you didn't like my first statement about how climate change is very real, then you're a fucking idiot, and you should unsubscribe from this channel and never darken its doors again. Anyhow, what we can all agree on is that at time of recording, it is the 20th of June, and this is the kind of weather I would expect for the 20th of June. So, at least a tiny point of consistency in amongst the sea of uncertainty. These are the kind of days that make me very glad I can walk to where I work. So I am today going all the way into Turnham Green so that I can pick up some things from Robert Dias on the way into the office. And then tomorrow I'm working from home because we have something very exciting to do tomorrow afternoon. I realised that I haven't really, for the last few weeks, talked about baby-related things. Now, that might be a blessing for you, but it is still rather a big deal in my life, so I thought I'd cover it. It's a slightly strange one. So after the 20-week scan, nothing happens very much until the 24-week GP's appointment, which again isn't that much really in the grand scheme of things. They sort of look you up and down and say you're still pregnant, all looks fine, see you later. So, as I mentioned before, like in the sort of off bits between the meeting the midwife, having the scans, what have you, it sometimes feels a bit unreal, and you don't really know, especially as a father, like where you are in the journey. It's much more visceral, obviously, if you're a mother, and you're very aware of it every day. But it does feel a little disconnecting at this point. Obviously, it gets very, very real very quickly. We're past 24 weeks now, so there's less than 4 months to go. It is still very much all the things that everybody ever tells you. It's exciting, it's slightly terrifying. It's when your first child anyway it's the biggest leap into the unknown I think that you can really experience, and that's not something that I actually mind too much, but it is a very big unknown. So you desperately want to know things and be able to do things, but you can't necessarily. We've obviously started buying a few bits and tidying the house and sort of rearranging everything to make room for another person, which sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud. And we've signed up for NCT classes, and Crystal's doing some baby yoga, and there's all sorts of sort of things you can occupy yourself with, but it still doesn't really take away the unknowns of like, what's it actually going to be like when baby arrives. I mean, obviously anyone can tell you the broad strokes, which is exhausting and satisfying at the same time, but I mean, those are so broad terms, you really don't know how you're going to experience it personally. What I do know is I'm very much looking forward to it. It is going to change our lives in a way that we can't currently envisage, and I'm sure that it's going to be fantastic. But obviously I'm not blinkered to the idea that it's also going to be quite difficult, because you're literally responsible for another human being for at least 18 years. So that is quite a load, to be honest. So broad summary, it's great. It's a little daunting. We're both very happy and excited, and a little nervous, and quite realistic, I think, as much as you can be. So we'll continue getting on and planning as much as we can, and then eventually we'll actually get to meet this person, which will be really quite brilliant. There's the big BSI building by Gunnersbury Station. That's basically where I've just come from, and you can see the hotel at the end of the road. No matter how short the journey, it's always so nice when you cross back over the river to the south side and it's suddenly as noisy as this. Kew is quite special, but it's been nice to have a short commute for a few days this week. I think I'll be back there 2 days next week, maybe more, depending on how this goes. I'm now well into the 3rd episode, and I have the 4th as well, so I can sort of plough through those in the next couple of days, and then it's on to the Andy Murray one, which is kind of nowhere still, so I'm not going to worry about that. Well, this morning has been a bit manic. Had to finish mix for programme number 3, which I just about squeezed into 2 hours, but it's a bit touch and go, and I've had to start cooking for the weekend, so that means I had to get a cacciatore going in half an hour and into the slow cooker, and now I've got to go to the post office, drop a load of stuff off, get on the train and go to Westfield because we've got a new car to pick up. Welcome to Westfield. Here we are at Seat, buying a Seat. So let's do the obvious thing, the word of the week. So this week's word of the week is obviously car. The car is the word of the week. This is very straightforward. So first of all, in German, the car is das Auto. Das Auto. That is German for car. And in Italian, the only difference is the pronoun. It is l'auto. L'auto. And there's Italian for the car. So there we go. That is car in German and Italian. And that was this week's word of the week. New car. Got now 2 cars, which is a bit of overkill, but you know, one thing at a time. Right then, it's my last outing of the day. I'm off to buy food. I am slightly tired and slightly cranky, so apologies. It's because this morning was very frustrating. The post office was shit and annoying, and I had to do too many things in 3 hours. But we've got a new car, so that's excellent. And once I've had a meal and a night's sleep, I should imagine I'll be very happy. Now, Poppy's still missing. If you see her, let me know. I'm going to sign off because I have nothing further useful to say. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you will subscribe and click notify and do all those things that would be very nice for me, but there's no obligation. So if you feel that way inclined, please do. Otherwise, I'll see you next week anyway. So bye.